beige Volkswagen.
Senator, I wish I'd keep it. It'd probably be worth more than the car I'm driving now.
You know, one of the things that I've been very proud of our uniforms is the fact that they're, for the first time, at least in my years that I've spent here, both in the House and the Senate, they're talking about the threat that's so real out there. And you and I talked, and by the way, thank you for the time that you gave, not just me, but everyone I've talked to has had a long visit with you, and we all know pretty much where you're coming from. But, and I mentioned this to you in my office, that it's the first time that I've seen the uniforms come out and talk about this unprecedented threat that we're facing right now and why it's a threat. And we had when we stand on the stump and talk about this, we don't have the credibility of someone in uniform. And so it goes all the way up to the secretary level. And I'm sure that you're going to be talking about that. You're not going to shy away from the reality that the level of threat that we have. The news reports that North Korea has successfully tested an ICBM capable of ranging to the United States. Coupled with a nuclear program, it now poses an imminent threat to the United States. In one of our hearings, we had General Stewart, the DIA director, going as far as to say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I would hope that you would elaborate as much as some of the rest of them are in joining in, because we're not going to get the attention. We all are talking about sequestration. We're talking about the problems that we're having. And we remember when, 1964, that 52% of the entire budget was defending America. It's been steadily going down since that time. So it's going to take a kind of a resurgence of people at the top, letting them know that times are not the way they used to be. Right now, we have a mentally deficient individual running a country that is totally unpredictable. We've had hearing after hearing, and that's the one thing that the top people in the military say, that it's totally unpredictable. So at our subcommittee that we had in January, going back to January, Admiral Moran said that the Navy has a readiness debt that will take years to pay down. So in your advanced policy question response, you wrote, our highest priority is to address the fleet-wide readiness by strengthening and leveraging their capabilities. Is there anything you want to say about that now that hasn't already been said in response to the questions from my predecessors?
Well, Senator, I will tell you that shying away from issues at hand is not something that I do well. If I am confirmed, I truly believe the whole focus of my work would be the pointy end of the spear.
Yeah,
and we're going to stand up and make sure that not only working with you all here in this chamber, but going out into America and letting Americans know what the real issue is.
Okay, I'd like to ask you a question on shipyards and depots. The Navy's recent aviation readiness challenges have been well documented. As the chairman said, we have, 62% of our F-18s are unavailable due to maintenance problems. And, you know, how do we solve this? We're looking into the future, and we're looking right now at a problem that's there today. Do you have any ideas on the first thing you're going to do? And I also want to mention the whole idea of maintaining an organic capability. I remember when I was first elected, we talked about is an arbitrary 50-50. And I thought, surely we can do better than that. But no, we're still 50-50. And quite frankly, I think it's worked pretty well. What do you think about the handling of this, the depots, and about our organic capability?
Senator, it's a very interesting a balancing act, I believe, that we have to address. When it comes to industrial capability, I can separate aviation and shipbuilding, and I'll address shipbuilding first, where we have lesser of numbers of providers. I don't say we glad hand people at all, but industrial science says that the most efficient way to produce is to have a clear line of sight to resources. And in this chamber, I believe we can address that. We have to work outside the chamber, I think, to work with some of our providers to ensure that they are providing us the best long-term sustainable relationship we can have to deliver equipment in the most cost-effective, quick manner we can.
Yeah. And lastly, I'd just say that you addressed the 355 ship issue, and I'm sure you've given some thought to what it would be the appropriate personnel in strength to for a fleet of 355. Looking into the future, I'd assume that you'd be starting to address that now while we're addressing the great threat that currently faces us.
Yes, Senator. If we take the full gambit of what's available to us to tackle the 355 ship goal, we should be thinking outside the box. We should be thinking possibly bringing things out of the ready reserve. We should be looking at ways to construct better, faster, cheaper. We'll be looking at a frigate down the road. All of this capacity increase will require manning. So there will be some numbers that have to be adjusted going forward for end strength.
Sure. Well, I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Senator.